Hey, what's going on, Dungeon Masters? Today is volume number 4 of my Monster Maker series, a supplemental gaming aid that I create to help you put fun and cool new abilities on the monsters that you're monkeying with for your D&D 5e games. Thank you so much for watching today. This is the Dungeon Geek. Welcome. If this is your first time downloading a Monster Maker sheet, please watch some of the other videos. They have a preface in them that basically explains what you're going to need to do once you download one of these things. The short version of it is that there are going to be certain variables like the difficulty class of a certain ability or the amount of damage dice that a certain ability does that you are going to need to fill in yourself. All that and more in the other videos. It's just really important that you challenge your party appropriately. So really, unless you know how to do this, watch those videos first. Fair warning. Today's Monster Maker sheet is all about the plane of air, the elements of wind and lightning. One of the great things about the Monster Maker series, of course, is that this allows your creatures to have unexpected abilities, things that players can't necessarily meta because they don't know about these handouts. Yeah, they've read the monster manual, they've DM'd a game or two, they've ran into goblins and kobolds. Tack one of these abilities onto your creatures and it's sure to disrupt the meta and allow your game to have some unexpected twists. As usual, I'm not going to cover every single one of these sheets. You can download them and read them yourself, but let's go over my top 3. First, let's talk about Chaos Bolt. This ability is designed to cause players to go, what the fuck? It's not a traditional lightning bolt. It doesn't have a point of origin from the caster that extends in a straight line and hits everything in a 5-foot wide space. No, this arcs up over the combat and strikes one target up to 90 feet away. There's your typical dex check, there's your typical damage or half damage on a successful save, unless it's a rogue, bastards. And then the Chaos Bolt has a 50-50 chance to duplicate itself and then strike another target to the closest target nearest the original target. And this process repeats, either until the 50-50 check is failed or until there are no new targets that can be hit. This is a fun way to add some random chaos to your party. This would also make a really cool trap or a series of traps in sort of an elemental fortress. Use at your own discretion. You could kill your own creatures. Next, keeping with the theme of lightning, let's talk about Arcane Crown. Arcane Crown is sort of like a rechargeable shocking grasp that affects the entire area around one creature up to 15 feet. Of course, there is your typical dex save and damage, but then similar to shocking grasps, any creature that is zapped with one of these bolts ends up losing their reactions until the end of their next turn. Alright, and let's talk about my most favorite, the funnest in my opinion, and that's Baffling Vortex. The reason that I love this so much is because this is basically doing something that isn't necessarily typical in D&D 5e as a whole, and that's having a bad guy create a battlefield asset. Of course, they could create a flaming sphere, or summon an elemental, or use earth to mud to create difficult terrain, but this creates a swirling 10 by 10 cylinder of vortex-like wind that if characters either enter or start their turn in it, there's a chance that they may become restrained. And of course, it only lasts temporarily, but it does have a recharge ability. This is great for adding extra dynamics to a battle, really kind of changing the game up, or creating choke points, or dealing with ranged players. It's just something that I feel that D&D really needs, especially if you've got a group of 4 to 6 players and they're getting a lot of action economy on a big boss that doesn't have legendary actions. This is a good way to sort of quell the tide and make the battle a little bit more neck and neck against your big baddie. Of course, all of these things are free to download, as is everything at thedungeongeek.wordpress.com. Hey, if you have any thematic ideas for Monster Maker sheets that you would like to see created in the future, go ahead and drop me a line. Either send me a comment on the blog, leave a comment below on the channel. All of these things are created so that your games can be better and funner to play. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, this, of course, has been The Dungeon Geek.